Assalamu alaikum. I am Asif Kamal, your English teacher. I hope all of you guys are blessed at home. Here we are with the quick review of the chapter A Beer, which is included in your monthly test. First of all, I would like to tell you about the story. The story is written in third person narrative. It means the person who is telling the story is not included and not present in the story. It was the time when grandmother was a young woman. One day, she and some other girls of the village, with number of children, went up the hillsides to dig for the wild turnips, because the turnips were used in winter season to put in meat and soup and cooked. So that was the main reason behind gathering and collecting the turnips. After some time, they all got tired and they went for the rest. And suddenly, everyone was startled by some of the children running toward grandmother and the larger girls screaming and shouting in terror, Abir, Abir. Grandmother called to all the children to run as fast as possible to home. She was also terrified because the bear could be heard growling and crashing in the undergrowth. And then, when the children had all started for home, grandmother ran too, because she also wanted to save her life. That's why she started to run for home. But on the other hand, the bear was still shouting and growling. All the children and the girls were terrified. But after some time, as they were running, grandmother was also running, and the bear approached or gained on the grandmother. And grandmother, as she was holding a iron rod, she pointed towards the bear and held and aimed at him. At this, the bear stopped there, and he was terrified. It was the reason that is given in the chapter that possibly this bear had once been wounded with the white man's gun, or perhaps he disliked the flash of the fire and the smell of powder, or even the roar of the shoot. So he changed his direction and started running back, and grandmother was the heroine of all the people of Sioux. Sioux was the tribe to whom all of these were belong. And at the end of the chapter, grandmother was declared as a heroine and she was praised for her bravery. Okay, now look at the comprehension part. Okay. The girls went to dig for wild turnips. Grandmother carried an iron rod. Everyone was startled by a bear. The bear ran away when grandmother pointed the rod. Grandmother was praised for her bravery. Okay. Look at the next part. Explain the following in your own words. Gained on her, approached her, reached her. To her great relief, the condition of being comfortable, the roar of the shoot, the sound of the gun shoot. Okay, next vocabulary part. Braided means put together or collected. Rawhide made of an animal skin. Outrun, overtake, undergrowth, forest. Heroine, a brave woman. Okay, now come to the comprehension part, question answers. Why do you think the turnips were stored to use in the winter? First of all, try to understand the question and then guess the answer of this question in your mind and then try to write it on the page. Next is, how do you know that the children were frightened of the bear? And last question, explain in your own words why the writer thinks the bear ran off when grandmother held the bar aimed at him. So this was the review of the chapter. Take care of yourself. Allah Hafiz.